Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Blackjack. I'm coming to you live from scenic Blackjack's parents' house, and I've been hard at work on my stuff for KomoriCon. Now, if I was at my house, I would have had a little prop with me. Do you remember during my E3 video? I had a little doll with me of Terra Branford. I would have had that with me because we're gonna talk about espers today. Now, I just actually watched all of Mob Psycho 100. I didn't have time to squeeze in One Punch Man, though, which actually skews me against Mob because I could see all his weaknesses, and he has a lot of them. But Tatsumaki may have a lot of weaknesses as well, so that would be obvious to me upon watching. Like I said last time, I did watch the first season a long time ago. I didn't realize until watching the, weekly character trailers that she was so much older than that. I thought she was like 16. But yeah, Mob has a lot of weaknesses. He's really naive. He does pretty much everything with other people. I don't know how the heck he survived that explosion at the end of the second season. I know it had to do with like the broccoli seeds in his pocket expanded and, grew to be full broccoli. It makes sense in context, okay? Actually, no, not even then. Not even then does it make sense in context. Okay, it makes like 5% sense. But it's there ever so slightly. He does have the ability to give his powers to others, which might mean that others can take his power. So, I don't know. It's weird. He can also, leave his body, but that leaves his very weak and squishy body. I think he's even weak for a middle schooler. And middle schoolers are already pretty weak. That leaves him completely undefended. And since Dimple's not going to be there to possess his body and make it fight, unless Tatsumaki has some sort of backup as well. Yeah. Actually, that might start us off. Maybe she's got to, banish Dimple. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I don't know. I just think he has a heck of a lot of weaknesses. He's incredibly powerful. But, at the end of the day, he is a middle schooler, and an especially weak and naive one. And actually, there's a gag at the end of the OAV that wraps up the second season where he's playing cards on a train, and he can't pick the right one. Although none of them seem to be able to. Like, he's playing with other psychics. So, none of them seem to have the ability to just tell which one is the right card. So that's a limitation not just on him, but on, I guess, the limits of his series. Alright. Getting over a cold, so I got some ginger ale.
There are plenty of talented people in the world, but even then, only a select few have the honor of being called prodigy.
But being a prodigy can get to one's head. Or one's head, if you know what I'm saying. Because the guy who made both these characters is called one. So, yeah.
Mob, the reluctant psychic powerhouse from Mob Psycho 100.
And Tatsumaki, the fearless, ferocious esper from One Punch Man. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Oh yeah, I've heard people say from watching the preview that it's like really
of Seasoning City, you would probably be familiar with the local criminal group Claw.
Maybe even the famous sex symbol and so-called greatest psychic of the century, Reagan.
Okay, so I just want to say something about Reagan. He's You ever seen Psych? He's basically Sean Spencer.
But you probably wouldn't think twice about this plain-looking boy with a bowl cut, Shigeo Kageyama.
Long story short, he's a
Shigeo!
pretty
Come on, they said
student
it
of
like a
Salt
million
Middle
times
School.
in the show.
He's the kid you picked last for dodgeball. He's just sort of there, taking up space and stealing your air.
The kanji in his name can even be misread as mob, which means bland and boring.
Naturally, everybody calls.
You know, I also get the feeling just from like the title song from the second season, they keep saying the mob. So I'm thinking it's kind of I'm thinking they might be leading up to something where it's like a collective. I don't know. It might just be English. Who knows?
So you might be surprised to learn that he accidentally took over a local gang, unintentionally founded his own cult, and is an incredibly powerful psychic warrior.
Don't get it mixed up. This isn't your typical superhero secret identity shenanigans. Bob doesn't really give a shit about any of these things. He's just out there trying to fit in by joining the Body Improvement Club, which he sucks horribly at. Oh, come on, man. Running's not that hard. Take it from me, and I've got a shotgun for a leg.
Still, when his life is in
When he's
danger
running, he
or his
turns into
friends
Ed,
need
Ed, and Eddie.
protecting, Mob's psychic ability manifests as something truly phenomenal.
He's mega powerful. He might not be able to run a mile without fainting, but he totally can if he boosts his body psychically. He can fly through the air, fling objects all over the place, throw psychic energy attacks, lift giant buildings, cause city-spanning earthquakes, whip up huge twisters, and more.
He's not just an offensive powerhouse, he can mold his psychic energy around his body as a shield. While this isn't an uncommon technique in Mob's world, it's incredibly useful for him in particular. As he's one of the few psychics who can actually attack and defend simultaneously.
Like when he was fighting a bunch of evil spirits all at once. Oh, talk about weird looking. Wiz, you sure he's not just like tripping balls or something?
No, but you're kind of on the right track. These psychic powers are directly linked to emotions. The more sad, angry, rejected, and so on that you feel, the more powerful your psychic abilities become.
Hey, Wiz, punch me. Punch me! I need to get really angry so I can do psychic stuff. Really? My Gran can hit harder than you. Wow, you think it'll work?
Use the
if
robot
I'm
arm!
so embarrassed about having a friend like you?
That was still just a slap.
Regardless, the fact that Mob's psychic powers are drawn from his emotions is a conundrum in and of itself.
Yeah,
See,
which
when
means he
Mob
tries
was a
to remain
child, an
emotionless.
attempt to use his powers wound up injuring his younger brother. This tragedy would scar Mob forever, terrifying him of his own ability. As a result, he suppressed his emotions.
He lost a
for
lot of
years.
blood there, I
But
gotta
just
say.
like a needy ex, they'd still boil up in bad situations. Us readers got to see them rise with a handy percentage counter. When it hits 100%, Mob goes all out like a Super Saiyan. He can even absorb psychic energy while in 100 mode.
But
100% sadness, Mob cries a lot. I don't remember that happening in the show. Probably because I haven't read ahead in the manga yet.
that's not Mob's limit. Far from it. Suppressing his powers had
he has
an unprecedented
triple
effect
question
on
mark
his psyche.
percent.
His
Yeah.
power became an entity of its own within Mob's mind, representative of his repressed self.
And when things get real bad, it takes over his body in a blind rage. Or blind sadness, whatever he's feeling at the time.
In this unmeasurable state, Mob's true prowess is revealed, and it's extraordinary. His sheer psychic aptitude increases at an alarming rate, including his absorption ability.
My powers are being sucked in by Kageyama. All of the energy in the atmosphere. Are you telling me his vessel is able to handle this much?
And while he is often unconscious while his inner self takes
Yeah, transferred to City Busting Blast into broccoli. Caught a bolt of lightning. I don't remember that.
over, his questionable state will continue trying to achieve whatever his most recent objective may be. Whether that's taking on the criminal organization Claw or confessing how he feels to his crush.
All right, I get it. The guy's super strong. So let's figure out just how much psychic power he's got bottled up. Check this out. While smashing this ugly joke through a building, he went from 0 to kick-ass so fast he caught fire.
Wow.
Taking this feat literally, to get this result, he would have to be reaching an ablation speed over 5 times the speed of sound.
Nice.
Fast, but not as fast as a bolt of lightning, which he was quick enough to catch with his shield.
That's not all. In
okay,
his
that's
duel
what
with Claw's boss, Toichiro, Mob took this huge crushing hit, scaling this massive handprint crater to a nearby building, that one, and applying the resulting fragmentation of rock. We found Mob survived an attack worth over 80 tons of TNT.
Nice,
Now,
nice.
Small time for Shiggy. In the same fight, he psycho lifted hundreds of buildings into the air. Look at that thing! Suddenly, I have an unshakable urge to go play Katamari Damacy. Somehow, these things will make some stars.
Not only is that millions of tons of stone and concrete, but simply creating this orb pushed away the clouds.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. Guys, that's not impressive. Clouds are just fluffy balls of cotton candy. Now I hear you. I thought so too. But turns out that's not true at all.
Water vapor.
To move clouds in real life, you need a frickin' hydrogen bomb.
So it's quite impressive when on another occasion, Mob gathered all these clouds himself. By measuring the area and multiplying by average cloud density.
Okay, now I got a question about the guy he was fighting. He claimed to have never cared about anyone but himself, and, like, no one pointed out, then why did you get married?
This feat comes out to around 30 gigatons of TNT.
20 times the combined destructive capabilities of all the nuclear warheads in the world.
Granted, Mob isn't all powerful. For example, once while
Unclear if this translates to Mob's capability in the real world.
absorbing
All right,
an
fair
explosive
enough.
attack, he reached a definitive limit. So he compensated by redirecting all that psychic energy into some broccoli seeds, with interesting results.
Oh man, it's gonna be hard to hide that one under the table.
In time, Mob eventually reconnected with his repressed self, fully accepting his past and his powers.
So look out, he may look like a total dork, but this is
And
one
he is.
middle schooler you don't want to try stealing lunch money from.
Can you feel it? Rage.
Which is
burning in me.
exactly what happened. Someone tried to take his lunch money, and that went down.
In a world filled with monsters and villains
Ultros.
which threaten the survival of humanity on a daily basis, it's a stroke of luck that mankind has its fair share of saviors in the form of superheroes.
And
Nice,
some of
nice.
these heroes are so powerful they can crush all the baddies without even laying a finger on them.
These are espers, superhumans who possess powerful psychic abilities.
And one of them is a girl named Tatsumaki. What the? Is that real? Why did she have cinnamon rolls stuck on her face?
Well, let's just say one is more well known for his excellent storytelling than, say, his art. Regardless, Tatsumaki's psychic abilities were extraordinary.
Why
even at
did
a
they
young
just
age.
not say
So much
unknown
so, she
instead
was
of not
taken from her
applicable?
family to be detained and studied at a research facility. She was 7 years old.
So, not the best childhood, obviously. Lucky for her, she got out thanks to a surprise rescue by the hero called Blast. Who blasts things, I guess?
Sure, why not?
No one really knows.
Either way, Blast's rescue changed Tatsumaki's life forever, and he left her with one very important lesson. When the time comes, don't expect someone to save you.
That's kinda harsh. He is supposed to be a superhero, right?
Whether it be she was inspired by his heroism or torn by his contradiction, Tatsumaki
same
decided
time,
to
you
take
know,
up hero work
it's
for
worthwhile
herself.
to
Thus, she took up the
say,
mantle,
you know,
Tornado
don't
of
depend
Terra.
on us.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Doesn't that sound more like a supervillain name? And you might mistake her for one too, cause she's kind of a brat.
Well, she is the best at what she does, and she knows it. So she often seems arrogant and rude. With her psychokinesis, she often floats above her opponents, looking down on them literally and figuratively.
Her favorite thing to do is throw rocks at people. Big rocks, small rocks, rocks from outer space, doesn't matter. If it's vaguely rock-shaped, it's flying at you. But she doesn't discriminate. She's also fine throwing other things like trains, schools, people, even a giant octopus.
Not only that, but she can alter the direction of gravity, create town-spanning barriers, twist up a human body, cause magnitude 8 level earthquakes, and spin up enormous whirlwinds. Fitting.
So, Mob can outdo her in the earthquakes, since he created a magnitude 9 one. He can take together all of those buildings and rocks and everything.
And that's not even half of it. She's the most powerful esper of them all, even better than her older sister, Fubuki.
Actually, that's her younger sister.
Wait, what? Man, anime's real confusing.
But given her past, even with her sister beside her, Tatsumaki has some serious trust issues.
She doesn't even want Fubuki to have friends. Chill out, lady. Friends are important. Right, Wiz?
Sorry, what?
I request the highest of fives!
Chance.
Anyway, manipulating objects and organisms is only part of her skill set. Tatsumaki's power truly shines when it comes to precision.
Oh yeah, she's so talented, she can use her crazy mind power to have full control over television!
Yeah, sure, but that's not really what I had in mind.
Change!
Well, Tatsumaki has some level of control over a person's chi, or as it's known in traditional Chinese culture, vital life force. If she can overpower her opponent, she can use their own chi to disable or even kill them.
I did it! I'm psychic!
Against other espers, she can spiral her own energy to redirect.
Physical superiority and extreme mental willpower. Well, Mop has the mental willpower, but he does not have physical superiority. The guy is freaking weak.
Theirs, and even suppress their powers in an instant.
Yeah, Lady Tornado can block their psychicness whenever she wants, so long as they're a weaker esper than her, which basically means everyone. One Punch Man meet the One Thought Woman. Seriously, this chick is so powerful she pulled a meteor from outer space.
Well, while that move is pretty well known, it technically is not canon to the original source material.
I
However,
see.
that doesn't mean it's off the table. As it turns out, her other accomplishments prove she's more than powerful enough to pull it off.
I
Just
see.
look at her lifting up this, what am I looking at here?
Good question.
City?
Thankfully, one was kind enough to include these lovely labels identifying Z City and an underground hideout. Now, Tatsumaki is psychokinetically lifting the entire hideout, which was previously stated to reach over 1,500 meters deep. As for the city, the world of One Punch Man is based on real-life locations in Tokyo. So at the very least, we could compare Z City to a smaller district like Ginza, which consists of about 215 acres. With the size of an average
That is
building in that
pretty
district
small.
in mind, and thus scaling the building to the hideout and then to Ginza, we found that Tatsumaki must be lifting over 3 billion tons of rock.
That's like lifting the entire Great Wall
Killed
of China
10,000
62
foes
times.
simultaneously?
More than powerful enough to pull a meteor from the sky.
When the alien invader Boros attacked City A with a hailstorm of giant bullets, she was fast enough to stop them in midair and turn them
Well, there
back
she
on
caused
the
a
enemy
magnitude
ship.
9.
Scaling these
Hang
bullets
on.
to the height of a human.
Hang on a
engaging by
second.
the amount
Defeated Genos Ancient King Black Sperm. I have questions. Mach 35. And magnitude 9, so that matches
bullets,
Mob.
she was fast enough to stop them in midair and turn them back on the enemy ship. Scaling these bullets to the height of a human and gauging by the amount of damage they could cause, the bullets must have been moving 1,800 times faster than sound.
She's tough enough to survive an attack that's 300 times the Earth's gravity, which probably explains why she could push through crazy G-forces while flying and fighting against the One Punch Man himself, Saitama.
By looking at the distance they flew in such a short time frame, they were likely moving more than 36 times the speed of sound.
Which
Okay.
is awesome, but she still didn't win the fight.
It was actually a rather humbling experience for her, finally realizing that perhaps she isn't the most powerful person alive.
I mean, all espers have limits, including Tatsumaki. Their psychic power drains them of energy, so they can get worn out to a point where they
Monster
can't do their
association.
psycho magic for a while.
Also, she generally has to focus exclusively on either offense or defense. So when she's on the attack, her guard is lowered, something a skilled enough opponent can certainly take advantage of. Also, should an esper like Tatsumaki suffer a serious head injury, their powers become more difficult to use.
So maybe she's not quite the unstoppable goddess
How
she
much
thought
more
she was.
difficult?
And after getting that memo, she finally loosened up a bit. She even let her sis hang out with her friends instead of throwing them into a wall or something.
Oh god!
Aw,
Yet, at the end of the day, the idea that anyone could even hope to match the tornado of Terra's pure psychic power seems laughable.
You disgust me. Get lost.
What's with the attitude from this lost child?
That sassy
All right,
lost
the bets are
child?
set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first, my mental powers are telling me that some of you are hungry.
No,
By
I just
now,
ate.
You've probably heard of Blue Apron, the leading meal kit delivery service in...
Okay, so she can't attack and defend at the same time. Well, he's one of the few who can. But it requires physical strength to overcome her unless you, like, land some head injury. Which he doesn't necessarily do. It just kind of happens, I guess. Although he did slam that guy head first into the wall. I don't know. I kind of felt Mob's chances go up and down there. Like, it seems like he can defend against pretty much anything she can throw at him, or at least match it. But at the same time, he doesn't have the physical strength at all. So, I don't know. I'm kind of torn here. It sounds like from a purely psychic point of view, he could win, but she does require physical. I don't know. They didn't get into that he can leave his body, but it leaves his squishy little teenage body undefendable. I guess he does become like super strong if he goes %. Who knows?
Oh, I'm lost.
What are you doing, dummy? Get out of here.
Can you help me? Do you go to the middle school here?
Middle school? Know your place.
You shouldn't use your powers on others.
Fight!
You think you're impressive? I'll crush you in 5 seconds flat.
I guess that's a little nervous. I gotta say, their animations, like their cell animations, are getting better. He's gonna go 100% awfully quick. Like right now. Yep. Whereas I think she's always at full power, isn't she?
Teach you a lesson.
What?
By the way, just so you know,
Yeah?
it's your fault.
Oh, golly.
What?
No. Got a pinball effect there. I was gonna say ping pong. That wasn't right. Okay, she can divert that. He can shield that.
How easy.
Ooh, question % already. All right, so she's.
You think you're a big shot? Try
Yes. Ooh. You gotta have the old Superman thing of throwing cars, huh? Alright, she's teleporting. Oh!
You should pay more attention.
Oh, yeah, a meteor. She can summon them? Did she just destroy his shield? Yeah, she destroyed his shield.
Nobody beats me.
Dang.
Whoa, that was crazy! I thought for sure Mob would win with his sucking power.
This was an incredibly close match. Honestly, if we were to run through this fight 100 more times, Mob could reasonably win 40 or so of them.
But we're not here to find out who wins 40% of the time. Mob had tons of awesome abilities, which gave Tatsumaki a hard time. But she still had the stuff to pull off a win more times than not.
Right. First of all, Tatsumaki had a notable advantage when it came to training
The
and
bottle behind her
experience.
says dang.
She's a top-ranked superhero who was trained from 7 years old, fighting a middle
Yeah,
schooler who
yeah,
never
that's-
wanted to use
that's
his
something
powers
else
in
I
the
forgot.
first place.
She was faster too, given her reaction.
Well, he
against
liked it
bars
at
and bullets,
first.
moving over 617.
It was only after his brother got
per
hurt that
second.
he
Sure,
tried to
Mob
stop
reacted
using
to
it.
friggin' lightning, but believe it or not, that's still technically slower.
See, a lightning bolt technically has two different speeds to consider.
Mm-hmm.
First for the slower leader of ionized air going down, and second for the faster flash going up. Given that Mob was reacting to a projectile moving down towards him, this can only mean he was reacting to the leader, which moves 98,000 meters per second. More than 6 times slower than Tatsumaki.
So, even though Mob had the edge of being able to attack and defend,
Never use astral projector for possession. It's unlikely a spirit could persist after death. Well, yeah. That's why it was so important that Dimple possess his body. As for his barrier to repel them. Oh, yeah.
and at the same time, Tatsumaki was a lot quicker than him, so she could switch between attacking and defending fast enough to counter Mob whenever she really needed to.
Still, that alone doesn't mean Mob couldn't have eventually scored a fatal blow. All of this would mean nothing if Tatsumaki couldn't overpower Mob's absorbing shield.
His awesome power of suck!
Right, we know Mob's sucking shield had a limit given how he was forced to transfer absorbed energy into...
Well, yeah, of course it possesses a higher limit. Okay.
those seeds, growing a massive head of broccoli in an instant. We can actually use this broccoli to get a general idea of Mob's absorbing limits. Broccoli typically requires 143 kilojoules of energy to grow 1/10 of a kilogram's worth. Scaling this giant one to the nearby buildings, we found it to be 21 million times larger than the average broccoli. This means Mob must have transferred enough energy to equate to about 1.6 megatons of TNT.
Yeah, but how about the energy Tatsumaki used to stop and redirect those giant bullets? Those things are huge, solid shells with no explosive component, given how Saitama here was able to crush one without triggering a big kaboom. And they could wipe out a whole city.
We're shown...
Okay, when people say visible from outer space, how far away are they talking? Like, just the limits of outer space? Like, is the space station in outer space or is it still in inner space? I'm not... I think that's outer space. Because you can see things like stadiums from some degree of space.
Shells destroyed most of City A in one shot, and we can see how much damage they dealt to Boros' ship when Tatsumaki turned them around. With this data in mind, the height of Boros' ship, and the already calculated bolt speed, we determined the energy she displayed here must have equaled at least 470 gigatons of TNT.
Damn.
Way more than Mob's big cloud feet, and more than enough to shatter his shield all
Reverse
at once.
Uno.
Tatsumaki was just too damn powerful. And it's not like Mob could absorb giant rocks thrown at him either.
Certainly, Mob's unique powers were generally passive and defensive, whereas Tatsumaki's were better suited to precision strikes and deadly blows. Once
Really,
Mob's
she could
barrier was
overpower
down,
his
she had
defenses
plenty
at
of
any
options for wrapping things up, whether it be blocking his psychic power, controlling his chi, or simply crushing him herself.
And her powers weren't dependent on her feelings, so she was always at full strength, no matter
Yeah,
what the
that's what I
situation
was. That's what I was
Mob
saying.
certainly had the skill and ability to put up an incredibly close fight, but Tatsumaki's experience, speed, and power put an end to this prodigious battle.
She just had the experience she needed.
The winner is Tatsumaki.
All right, good for her.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Death Battle. If you want the battle music for yourself, you can get it by clicking the link down below, and you can check out more of our stuff right over there.
You can't have a death battle season without Deadpool, right?
Without Deadpool, right?
Hey, Boomstick.
Yeah, Wiz.
I think I might know a way to get rid of Deadpool once and for all.
Oh man, and that's gonna be comic book mask. Oh god. Deadpool with the mask. The only possible opponent for him at that point would be Emperor Joker. And Emperor Joker's not here. So yeah, about the fight, I'm kind of surprised she was able to overpower his defenses so much, but when they said that physical would play a big part in it, I kind of knew that she was going to win because he is a weak little shrimp of a boy. By the way, Athena was going to join me, but I tried to get her out of her cage and she bit me. Multiple times. Like, a parrot will sometimes bite, when they're trying to get a steady grip on your hand so they can determine whether or not it's okay to put their foot on it. But no, this was an actual bite, not just an exploratory. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, the battle win is about as much as I could predict. Like I said, I had thought a lot more about his weaknesses. Damn, though, that's freaky. Get down to, asking her where the middle school is. What is that, like the pettiest reason to kill someone in this entire series? At least with Marvel vs. Marvel, he thought she was committing a crime. Or no, she thought he was committing a crime. Which he kind of did, but purely by accident. Goodness golly. And it's one of those, I know they always say, like, whoever goes to full power first is going to lose. But she's always at full power. So it didn't really matter how fast he was getting to question percent. Triple question percent, I don't know what you call it, unknown percent. I don't seem to have the pictures on my computer anymore of my smash once. I was going to bring up a picture of Terra Bradford during that. Come on, you give us esper battles, right? You know, it occurred to me my teeth look kind of yellow. My teeth actually are slightly yellow. It's because I had to take tetracycline when they were coming in. So they're actually quite healthy, even with the and it comes down a little, which I actually kind of like. I think it gives my mouth some character. I did have braces for a very long time, but that doesn't affect the length of them. And I guess we're gonna see a hell of a lot of teeth next time with the mask. And I know Stanley Ipkiss was only one person that possessed the mask. I know it went on to have a whole bunch of other people. One of them killed Stanley for the mask, so he's dead. And the mask is like the manifestation of Loki, right? So it's basically the embodiment of pure trickster chaos. It slants more towards evil, but I imagine it could be used for good. I don't know why DC is trying to turn Harley Quinn into their version of Deadpool, because they already have the Creeper for that. I mean, they kind of also have Lobo for it, but Creeper could easily be made into that series, that franchise, that company's Deadpool. Well, anyway, I better get back to making my geese. Honk. Honk. I thought I was being so clever. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to make some anti-goose signs for the con. It's like, what's everyone else doing for the con? I thought I was being unique. I think there's going to be quite a bit of other goose cosplayers there. Oh, well. All right, well, I will see you in 3 weeks. Actually, I'll see you in a little bit because I'm going to be working on a reaction to the Smash thing that came out earlier. I'm Blackjack Aviani, and you're not.